Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, with the final deck interview with the National Geographic Extraordinary Earth cards. Alright, so this is my more typical deck interview that I do. So it's I use 9 questions. I can't remember where I got this deck interview from, but somebody else deserves credit. I didn't invent it. Number 1, what are you here to teach people? Right. Maybe to do the impossible. Maybe to weather things beautifully. You know, that's undoubtedly created by some sort of, well, it looks to me as though it's glacial. This is Australia. I have no idea what the geological history of Australia is. But if I were to see that in the United States, I would think there was a glacier that at some point had kind of gone through and scoured it clear like that. And I could be wrong. I don't know. But it's cool. I know mountain goats that could go up that curve, just about. I've seen one do a strange gravity-defying sort of climb like that. It's very weird. So yes, what are you here to teach people? Maybe to do the impossible, again, maybe to weather the storms and the eras and everything beautifully, because it has survived and become this beautiful curve. So that will be my interpretation for that one. I'm not going to try to go any deeper. And how would you describe yourself? How interesting. This, and look at all those connected roots. So I would say that it views itself as connected, obviously very grounded, but you've got the trees shooting up to the more spiritual area, so grounded yet striving upward, pushing upward, and extremely connected. So that's interesting. What is your opinion of me? One of the few cards that actually has people in it. So there's a person standing. This is like, I don't know if it's lava bed. It's the crater of a volcano in Hawaii. Looks like it's Pauahi crater in Volcanoes National Park. So I'm not sure what that means, that I'm in the hot seat. I'm standing amidst steam. Maybe it sees me as steamy. So that's really funny. I do really like that card, but again, I don't know that I can go any further with that one. Number 4, how can I best collaborate with you? How interesting, because this is the card I chose as looking the most like me. So how can I best work with you? Let me see here. It's an interesting card because you've got a stormy sky. You do have the road cutting through the edge there. And you have cultivated fields, and then you have kind of the free range area above, or the more natural area above. How can I best collaborate with you? No, it may be that it's saying, to keep, there's domestic, there's wild, there's dark, so maybe to keep those things in mind in any given picture, the aspect that is more mundane or domestic interpretation, a more free, wild, interior kind of, you know, the mountain kind of interpretation, and then the wilder or uncontrolled, tempestuous kind of interpretation. I don't know. It's curious to think about. This is also pictured in China, and I have my Chinese system of elements spread that I use, so I could take that literally and think of it in terms of using with that particular spread. Number 5, what are your strengths as a deck? This is, to me the main feature here is the star tracks. You know, there's hard rock star tracks. That's in Utah. What are they calling them? Sandstone formations. But it's really about the star tracks that are in there. That's a nighttime picture. Your strengths as a deck. So I don't know if that would be that it's cosmic, maybe staying grounded while looking at the big picture. Another thing I know from photography is that is a long exposure. To get those streaks in the sky like that, that is a long exposure. So maybe the strength as a deck is you'll see patterns through long exposure. I'm not sure if that's a strength or a weakness, but anyway, there we have it. Number 6, what are your weaknesses as a deck? So we've got this. I associate many different things with caves, but with this, the first thing that struck me, I'll go yawning again. Oh. But I'm not that tired today, so hopefully that's one yawn and that'll be it. Is that it's linear. Maybe it's not a linear deck. In other words, you can't say this will happen and then this will happen, that it is an intuitive deck. It could mean that it's not a shadowy deck, in other words, it is not to be used under, but what are your weaknesses as a deck? So I was thinking, that it wouldn't be good, so this underground aspect is a weakness. Maybe it can't be used very well for psychological readings, or sussing out the unseen or something like that. So maybe it's better off being used kind of for the surface or spiritual rather than psychological readings. 7. What is the potential of our outcome? What is the potential outcome of our time together or of working with this deck? Fog. So maybe I'll never get clear readings out of this deck. I don't know. Or there is a bridge in there. There is a bridge. So maybe if I am a little bit more positive, maybe bridging the fog, bridging into mystical realms. That's pretty hilarious. Okay, what are the others? What is one thing you ask of me? Oh, we have Old Faithful. And since it's called Old Faithful, it's asking me, as many decks do, this is like a timing card. Oh, just take your time, just relax, keep me for a while. Old Faithful. So to be faithful, now what makes Old Faithful is that it is very regular. you know, in its timing, its release is extremely regular. So you go, I've been there, so you go into the lodge and they have a schedule. This is when it's going to go off next, you know. So it's so regular, they, you know, they can tell people when they got to be there to see the next one. So it could be that. I mean, releasing steam, blow off steam, which is essentially what that is. So that is a release, but also I think it's saying to use the deck periodically, on a regular and frequent basis is one thing it would ask me, because I don't know, I can't remember if it's Old Faithful goes off every 45 minutes or every couple of hours. I can't remember, but you know, it's several times throughout the day. It's not like once a week or once every couple. It's pretty regular. Okay, last card. What kind of readings do you enjoy the most? Well, how am I supposed to interpret this? Waves? So here we have waves coming in. Where is that? Belize Barrier Reef. Reserve System. So is it coming to shore, or is it just hitting the reef? I don't know. I would have to kind of look up that. I'd have to look up barrier reefs, but I'm assuming they're calling it barrier. So I'm assuming that there's an island, and then out from the island there's some kind of reef that is a barrier, so that the waves come in and they break on that reef and thus do less damage to the actual above water island. So what kind of readings do you enjoy the most? I don't know. I don't know if it would be protective, things that diminish the energy of a situation. So if you think of a wave coming in and its power to erode or whatever, if the, you know, the reading or the deck is the barrier reef, then what the barrier reef is doing is it is kind of dispersing that energy, you know, so that it won't hit the island so hard. You know, it takes that energy and it kind of disperses it, keeps it from being concentrated. So I don't know if that would be relaxing readings that it just could mean kind of spread out readings, spreads. I don't know. This one has me a little baffled. I'm not sure exactly how to interpret that. So if anybody has any other interpretations for these cards I pulled up, you know, what they might mean, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'm open. This is totally new deck, has absolutely no, I mean, it was not intended to be used for this purpose. So there's no guidebook or anything. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think this is viable to use as a deck? Do you think, you know, how would you interpret with those questions, you know, these cards that I showed you? I'm very curious to hear everyone's feedback on that. Alright, that's it for now. Take care. Bye-bye.